The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, Heckma Harrison, and Newy Scruggs.
Hey, time for the Players Lounge right here on DallasCowboys.com radio. You know the players, Danny McCray, Barry Church. We got Heckma Harrison here in the house, sporting the Cowboys gear. I am Newy Scruggs. We are brought to you by Tostitos as the Cowboys are entering into a pivotal game on Sunday at Landover, Maryland, in the worst stadium in the National Football League to host the Commanders.
Come on, man. Give him a break.
He ain't lying about
Freeze
that
him
one.
out.
That's terrible.
Freeze him out.
Do you have to go?
Oh, I stopped going.
I stopped going. Once stuff start falling down.
Yeah. I'm sitting in the press box and it's raining on my papers. Oh, no. And then then Tony Wiley, who started off here as a PR intern, eventually worked up there full time. He was the main PR guy. Tony was in charge of the food. And when Tony left, they gave the media the finger with the food. I was like, that hot dog that doesn't look right. I started bringing my own food to the game. Like, not doing it, not touching it. No. So,
I'm glad you only have to go to L.A. and Vegas and Miami. I'm glad you only get the best places.
Finer things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a tough job.
To quote George W. Bush, I'm the decider.
I
I look at the schedule, like, yes.
That's me.
When I saw Buffalo in December, I won't be doing that.
That's not the one.
I don't go to Philly anymore, and I don't go to DC anymore.
Man, that stadium was bad in 2010 when we went up there.
it's been
I
bad
year.
for a
Like,
long-
it's been good.
Well, you saw when the thing almost fell on Jalen Hurts that time. No, man, they truly do not. Dan Snyder did not care. So no, I won't be there for that one. Cowboys 13-point favorite. Heckma, your thoughts on Ron Rivera stating that Sam Howell will be the starting quarterback this week?
You called it.
Oh, man.
You called it.
He did.
Yeah, he got a call upstairs. He went upstairs right quick and they said, "Look, Ron, this is what we gonna do. We gonna pay you out.
You want all that check?
You want all? This is what you're going to have to do." There's a lot of guys, I'm sure, that are playing for incentives. And around the NFL, you've been seeing guys get benched that are getting close to their incentives. So, hey, we're not going to incentivize playing on Sunday. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get out of here so we can get this number 2 pick. Obviously, ownership is hell-bent on getting it. And they're using Ron Rivera as the mouthpiece to go out there.
Who do we think their best shot at beating us is at quarterback?
Brissett to me.
I think
he
it's
can run a little.
Howell.
You think how?
Yeah, I don't. Turnovers.
Seriously?
I think it is. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't have
My voice
nothing.
just went up 2 octaves.
I don't have nothing to lose.
He gets
Go out
scared
there,
back there, like-
gunslinger, all that. I'm gonna just toss it up. I remember. The beginning of the game.
Last year,
it did. Like I remember that. I remember that. The people who have the potential to, like, I'm not saying he's going to do it, but if you're going to get a guy who's going to go out there and play reckless and just may have that chance to throw up something that, I don't know. He makes me a little bit, not Brissett.
I got to go with Brissett on that.
Yeah, Brissett. And it's Brissett for all the reasons that we got God in Arizona. Yeah, I mean, not that he's as mobile as that guy, but still, I mean, he has the arm, he still has the IQ. I just don't see that from Sam Howell.
I remember the
That's all
beginning.
I'm
I'm
saying.
sorry. I remember the beginning of the season when we were watching Sam Howell, and everybody was like, I don't know, man. Washington might be okay. He's still the same guy. It could be really ugly or it could be really nice.
That's the difference. He's not the same guy anymore. The beating he's taken this year, it has worn him down. They've talked about it a whole lot within the media, and just that, hey, man, this guy's seeing stuff now. They haven't protected him well. And it was the reason why Rivera went to Brissett and was going to start him, but then Brissett got hurt, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
But he benched him. And it just – all the talk of what you thought he was and the way the season's gone and my man seeing stuff, he just wasn't the same. So the Sam Howell we saw last year that beat the Cowboys and had some promise to start, that's gone. They didn't beat that out there, man.
20 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. Bring me Sam Howell.
Hey, come on, Sam.
Sam Howell, he used to be that dog that when the mailman walked by, was in the yard, chased the mailman. Now Sam Howell beat down, so he look at the mailman, just lay back down.
It ain't even worth it.
No, they've not protected. It's bad. I mean, God bless Eric Bieniemy, but they've thrown it way too much. That kid is taking a beating. So And let's go back to this, but they ain't won a game. They've not won a game since week 9. That's a long
And it's not. I mean, I think if at the beginning of the season, especially with Eric Bieniemy going over, you didn't think that the season would go like this for the Commanders, and it's unfortunate, especially for him as a coach, because you thought this was a side step to then elevate. And it's not working out that way. So if he doesn't get his opportunity after I'm sure they're going to fire everybody. If he doesn't get his opportunity now, when? Yeah. When does that happen for him? And I think for as much as we dog a lot of these teams in the NFC East because of the competition factor and just the rivalry of it, the Commanders have been like a quarterback away from being a dominating team for years because we looked at their defense and the guys they had up front, and then you bring in the Terry McLaurin and that wide receiver group, and you're like, man, this is a good team. They just don't have nobody that can get their guys the ball, and they just hadn't been able to figure that piece out yet. And now they're going to have to go through this whole cycle all over again. So, I mean, hey, continued confusion to you, Commanders. Let's keep it rolling. I love it.
Don't feel bad. Listen, RG3 was there. Okay, RG3 was
You're
there.
Still tormented
They had a shot with Alex too, and then that ended up not going in their favor. So yeah, they've been searching. I know, like I said, at the beginning of the season, they thought they may have had something. Not a game changing type of guy, but a guy who may have been serviceable. Hopefully he doesn't return to what he was at the beginning of the season. But we do know Jacoby Brissett can't play ball, so hopefully we don't have to see him. But it's just like I'm trying not to be heck in this situation when he was talking about trap games and all that. I'm trying not to be that, but I just know, like, usually when it's this, that's when it gets tougher. It's tougher for you mentally when you start to see, like, hey, all that is in front of me. All I have to do is do this. And then that's when stuff can start kind of falling apart for you.
As players with the Cowboys, they can't go into this mindset. And I'm sure the coaches will see this throughout the week in practice, but you can't go into it like it's a preseason game. Like, you know how just the mindset is different going into it. Just you don't warm up as much. You going out there usually doing all your defensive back drills, getting ready. You might skip a few of those if it's preseason mode. You can't get into that versus the Commanders right here. We all understand, they're mailing it in. They've been mailing it in since they traded half of their defense away. So we understand what their players' mindset is. But as a guy going out there, you just can't have that mindset to where we're going to cakewalk these dudes. Because even if you go out there half-stepping, you may get hurt. So you got to go out there full tilt, and the coaches will have a good barometer of where the players are during the week.
That would tick me off. If I saw, for anybody, and I think who would that be an indictment on? It'd have to be leadership, because if you don't know what you're playing for, if you're going to come out there and just roll your helmet out there, we're going to get this dub, and then you end up losing, like, that's the wrong way. We talk about the narratives throughout the season. If that's the case, if that's what we're talking about Monday, Cowboys lose in D.C., and now instead of having the 2 games at home or potentially having 2 games at home, you're now on the road playing. Come on, man.
We've seen it happen before.
Yes, we have.
We've seen it happen.
But for home field advantage, for the number 2 spot over being, come on now. That's crazy if that happens.
I just came from the locker room, posed that question to Stephon Gilmore. Do you need to say anything? As a veteran, guys already know. No, we understand, we know. So talk to him. I talked to Jake Ferguson. I talked to Osa Odigizua. Talked to J-Ron Kearse. They understand Tony Pollard. They get it. They know what's in front of them. And just in some ways, the sure ability to just see it through, that you were chasing Philadelphia. Now here you are with the ability to get it done. Respect, and I asked JK about the receiving core. He's like, look, this is a good receiving core we face. These 3 guys are, they're something to, don't play around with it, but they get it. So in my conversations right now, just coming out the locker room before the show, they understood it. So I did have that. That was my whole kind of focus for my story at 5 o'clock is, guys get it. Does anything need to be said? Jake Ferguson talked about people locking up and leaders, being focused this week. By the way, here's a stat for you. No Washington quarterback has thrown 30 touchdown passes since Sonny Jurgensen in 1967. Guys, this is a bad franchise. They talk about searching for a quarterback, but they ain't seen one in a minute here. 30. Think about it. I thought RG3 might have had 30.
Or Kirk Cousins one of them years, but
hadn't thrown 30. Wow. And I think they said Cousins got close to like 27. If Jordan Love has 30 this year for Green Bay.
That is bad.
That's bad, man. This is a cursed franchise.
I'm sitting there thinking like Doug Williams. No, I'm just
Nope.
oh man,
Yes.
that is horrible.
Yes.
That's not good.
They still search. So good luck. So yeah, you do need to get this number 2 pick. So you need to get somebody who can find a way to throw you 30 touchdown passes in this league. I mean, now think about it. You got an extra game.
Yeah.
1967, there were 12 games. 12, 14 games. Now you got 17.
They put no stats up.
Nobody can go anywhere, man.
I'm trying not to be you right now.
No, man.
I want to be relaxed and cool and happy and like we gonna go beat the heck out the Commanders and all. Like I want to be that way.
It's a wrap, man.
But I cover the spread.
Yeah, they getting that,
13 and a half.
They getting all that. Yeah, they getting all that, man.
Now, other thing heard in the locker room is, hey, look, they're going to be physical. They're going to play us. So there was not that air of, hey, man, just, this Vanderbilt, we about to come out here and LSU. No, hey, we come to play. It's not they understand that they're going to come out here and play too. But they also know and realize the opportunity that they have and to get the home games and to play at AT&T Stadium. So I just believe that at the end of 60 minutes, the Cowboys will leave Landover, Maryland with a win. And we also know it's going to be a home game.
Of course.
Ain't nobody.
I remember last time I was up there, Ubers kept pulling up. Folks bumping out with blue jerseys, blue and white jerseys. Philadelphia, you just don't roll out there in a blue jersey. It's not a smart thing to do. You come in something neutral, and then you hide it and then you pull it out at the end. Surprise! But not up there in D.C., man. They don't even care. They can put it right up. What you
I'm about the king, huh?
So when you walk through the parking lot and you see the tailgate, you see Washington fans partying with Cowboy fans. Look, it's a whole different vibe. It's like there's no respect anymore for the burgundy and gold like it used to be. It's sad. Heck, when we grew up, man, this is a rock. Now they just understand.
They were gonna beat them to submission. What are you talking about, man? It's over with. They trying to find their way back. What are you talking about, man?
Fans are just like, okay, we know.
Hey, no sense in breathing no air into them this weekend. So it's over with. Let's go ahead and get your
curtains, huh?
Hey, go ahead and get your Bahamas reservations ready.
Cabo tickets,
yeah.
all that.
They ready already. They've been ready for a few weeks. You said they ain't won a game since when?
9 weeks.
9 weeks. Get it ready. Get it ready to go.
When the Cowboys lost at Philly, that was the last time they won.
Yeah, that's booked already. Yeah. First class.
2 tickets to paradise.
Yeah, they booked it early, so they got a discount.
All the discounts.
Hey, let's get a break in here. Tony Pollard talk. Run game. Can you fix it? Let's dive into that next right here with Danny McCray, Heckma Harris, and Barry Church. I'm Louis Scruggs Players Lounge, brought to you by Tostitos on DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss retail stores. #BeYourOwnBoss.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to the Players Lounge.
I don't have a read.
It is Players Lounge on Wednesday, heading into the season finale against the Washington Commanders. Everybody, Barry Church, Heckma Harris, that's Danny McCray, I'm Newey Scruggs. All right, our confirmed starting quarterbacks for Week 18, Blaine Gabbert, Jeff Driscoll, Carson Wentz, Nick Mullins, Trevor Siemian, Easton Stick, Tyrod Taylor, Sam Howell, Mason Rudolph, and Jared Stidham. More to come.
Carson Wentz got another starter in the league.
I didn't even know he was in the. I thought he was hunting somewhere.
Sean McVay got him, man.
So they clinched, right? So so it's Green. Like, who is it? Green Bay fighting for a spot. Buffalo fighting for a spot.
Buffalo, Miami this weekend.
Yeah,
Tampa too, right? Tampa fighting.
Pittsburgh fighting for a spot.
Yeah.
Tampa.
Your Super Bowl winning team.
It's a lot of people fighting this weekend now. Everybody ain't playing backups.
The AFC South, Jacksonville is 9-7, Indianapolis is 9-7, and Houston is 9-7.
It's crazy.
It's the winner of the Houston and Colts game, right? That gets it.
Hey man, it's folks battling this week, man.
So
it's wild because
okay.
Everybody just assumed that the AFC was going to be this way better conference because they have better quarterbacks, and that's not been the case this week. But, yes, you've got the L.A. Rams taking on the 49ers. That game is in Levi Stadium. Run CMC's out this week, so they're resting him. A little foot injury.
Foot or hamstring?
I think it was foot.
Okay.
So we'll see if Sam Darnold goes. I mean, do you really want to put Brock Purdy out there and risk this? So we could see.
Got the number one.
Trent, none of them dudes.
Cats in there. Ayuk, they all about it.
Out of there.
Seattle is taking on Arizona.
Seattle can get in too, right? They got a chance too, right?
So, yeah. So right now, Green Bay is the 7th seed.
They fighting with Green Bay.
The Rams are the 6th seed. So
some kind of way, as Chris Beam was explaining to me earlier, that we may end up, if we win the NFC East, that first wild card game could be against the Los Angeles Rams instead of.
I would love it.
Instead of Green Bay.
Look.
I would love it.
That's why he don't want the 2 seed, because he said we'd rather play on the road against Baker Mayfield, whoever wins that NFC South, versus playing at home against the LA Rams.
Yeah. I'd rather see the Rams.
I don't feel that. I'd rather play whoever.
Yeah. We understand
at home.
We understand.
At home.
At home.
Put that
Here.
Yeah.
Run game. Tony Pollard spoke. And it was a good question from Todd Archer of ESPN where he said, is there anything you can change or do differently in the run game here Week 18, or is it just what it is? And Tony's like, ain't nothing you can change. It just is what it is. And Tony admitted that the season hasn't gone the way he thought. Said he spent a lot of time in prayer and talking to family, and so it's not been the year that he wished he had been. When they franchised him, gave him $10 million price tag and said, go be the number one guy.
$10 million.
Did the injury have something to do with it? Or is it just, like, is it Skip Pete?
I think it's 100% what Skip said. Everything Skip said about the situation that Tony needs to be in a timeshare situation in terms of what he and Zeke had, and they don't have that. Nothing against Rico Dowdle, but Rico Dowdle is not the hammer that Zeke was.
But how do we explain no explosives though? You know, like, even if you are in a shared situation.
I think part of it is the injury, what you said, because he spoke about not. You know, and it's one thing he covered up. He didn't say anything, and Gallup kind of was the same way. I wasn't really wasn't where I thought I would be, so it took him a while to get there. Is he still there now? I don't know. I think that's still something we won't totally get the truth until after the season. Or you come out and say, yeah, man, all year long I wasn't what I was, which to me would explain why we haven't seen the explosiveness. And that was another question that was asked, You're down to 4 yards in average. Last year you were at 5, anything. He played good soldier. He didn't want to come out and make excuses. But we have seen Tony Pollard for 5 years now.
A splash play king. We talked about it.
This is not the guy who, as he left the 49er game, and you're saying, man, what it could have been if he had not gone out. He's not that guy, hasn't been that guy. So the only good thing about his season for the Cowboys in their favor is that they could get him back at a very discounted price.
I would love to see like a breakdown of how they were using him as far as running, because I don't know for certain, but just looking at the games that he's played in, it seemed like they've been using him a lot as that hammer, which to me, doesn't make a lot of sense because we all understand what he possesses as far as speed on the outside. So if we go back, there was a break. I wish there was a breakdown of it, but if you look at last year, I mean, he was catching real routes on the outside, screen plays, reverses. I think they were using his speed. Now, granted, you did have Elliott in there, going in there using that hammer on defenses and wearing them down to where Pollard could get loose in there. But I mean, even this year, I feel like every time we look at the game, it's in between the tackles. Here goes a little, maybe a stretch play here and there. Maybe it'll dump it down to him, but nothing really designed to use his explosiveness. And to me, that's what you're going to get when you see him in the role he is now, that in between the tackles, which it's just not his game. It's just not, his guy. He's just not that thunder.
No, what I've seen in Tony Pollard, which is different this year, is the fact that he's not being used as a change of pace back. And when you get an opportunity to not hide behind another guy, you let him take some of the brunt of those in between the tackle plays, and then you come in at a whole nother pace than him. Even their running style was completely different between him and Zeke. Tony Pollard still is 65 yards away from being a 1,000-yard running back. All right, for whatever that's worth.
It's not.
It's whatever that's worth. All right, I tried to
all that.
Positive heck. I tried to sprinkle in something there for you. It didn't work, did it? Damn. Okay. So
not over 100 since when? 60s?
17 games?
It's been bad, and that's the only thing that you can point to going into the playoffs that you are not really confident in the running game. How do you compensate for it? And I've been saying all along, this is a passing team. They compensate for it by short yard passing. Okay, that's what makes up for it. By getting CD in the backfield, getting other guys involved to run some of those outside zone runs that you would used to see Tony Pollard running. So that's how they've affected the running game. You're going to have to find ways to milk the clock. And I was a little critical of Mike McCarthy at the end of the game, but that tripping penalty really was the reason why Detroit was even in a position to win the game at the end of the game. Because other than that, you milk the clock and you're done. But you're going to come up against some teams like the Rams. You're going to come up against a Philly again. You may have to take that trip back up to Levi Stadium and play the 49ers. There's going to have to be a component of your running game that defenses have to respect, because even as you talk about him running in between the tackles, if he was just a one-trick pony, that just lets the defense know where he's going and what he's doing. So Mike McCarthy had to scheme up to use him.
Yeah, listen, 12 to 15 carries is where you got to get them. But those 12 to 15 carries, I think they need to be you have to find a way to get creative. Because, like I said, if you have to travel in the playoffs, your running game and your defense you have to have those to be able to travel. Now, Dak Prescott has been able, to cover that up a little bit specifically at home. But once you get on the road, you see once you don't have, if you don't have a running game, you essentially don't have a shot to really – if you get ahead, to hold the lead, or to find a way to crawl yourself back in the game if your passing game isn't working. So I think it's something that you really need to try to focus on. Yeah. Albeit, we're playing the Commanders, we all expect to win, but then you have things that you can work on going into the playoffs. I know it's the end of the season, but you still get that one more real game flying bullets at you, to figure out how you can get this running game going before you get into the playoffs.
Let's go around the table here. Obviously, it's going to be a reduced price. Tony Pollard will not be making $10 million next year. Would you bring Tony Pollard back, Danny?
I mean, I had to see the landscape of what.
Half the price.
Half the price? So $5 million?
Yeah.
Who else on the roster? Just Rico? No, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing the Rico and the Tony again.
You get your third,
you got to
forget Rico. I'm just talking about Tony. You can go draft and go bring in some, do whatever. I'm just saying Tony. I'm just talking about Tony.
That's tough.
Okay.
All right. Yes, and I'm in the market for a running back.
Correct. Barry.
No, I'm not bringing him back. Nah, not at $5 million. Nah, man. Maybe 2.5, 2. Especially if we're seeing, if this is what's going to be the future as far as him being a player. Like, he needs to be a specialized player. Nah, I'm not bringing him back for 5. I would use that money elsewhere. Maybe in the linebacker room, maybe something like that. But yeah, I'm not bringing him back for 5.
Under 60 for how many games? 60 yards.
17 or something like that. Yeah.
60 yards.
Yeah.
We talking about. At $5 million.
I can't do it.
They upset over there about Dalvin Cook, the money he made for his 200 and some yards that he had this season.
I
can't do it.
I asked the question because this is going to be a very big offseason in terms of there's a lot of, you got Dak you got to take care of. You got CeeDee Lamb you got to take care of. You're going to have to sit around and get ready about Micah Parsons. You got your starting center who's up. Now your starting running back is up. And so that's why I asked that question. What do you do there? And I look at Detroit, who totally revamped their run game. Yeah. They traded Swift to Philadelphia. They used their first-round pick on Gibbs out of Alabama. Then they brought in David Montgomery. So you can go out and start over if you want to, but I think you got to somewhere along the way ask, okay, what is it we want to do, and then how do you see Tony Pollard? Do you think Tony Pollard, if you combine him with someone else, maybe you draft? That's free agent wise.
That's what I mean.
Could you do that?
Is this a Ronald Jones thing? Like, because I'm assuming they expected Ronald Jones to be the hammer type of guy, and then Tony Pollard kind of be what he was last year, but we never really got a chance to see that. So I think they had the right kind of game plan in mind, but I don't think they were able to bring it to fruition because we had the issue with Ronald. He wasn't able to get there. So in my mind, maybe they are seeing that, hey, if we get a guy who we expected Ronald Jones to be, then maybe we bring Tony Pollard back so he can get back into his old role. So I see there's a possibility, but you have to have a guy who's going to be able to really specialize with running up in between the tackles, pass blocking, being physical, being that tone setter. So then you can have Tony Pollard get in there and have those splash runs like he had last season.
A lot of good college backs out there right now.
Yeah.
So if they want to go into the draft, there's an ability to go out and find yourself some serious help. But at the same time, too, you're going to need a veteran guy. I think Austin Eckler is going to be free as well out there. Your boy.
Yeah,
Your boy.
Saquon Barkley is going to be. There's going to be.
That's one.
No, there's going to be some guys out there.
That's we got.
That's one I would.
I mean, and then what's his price?
Yeah,
he's been hurt a lot too. So this is going to be a really interesting situation of what they decide to do here. And oh, by the way, I go back to what you've been talking about for a number of years now, getting more help on the offensive line. This offensive line right now is definitely had issues on the road. They've got some issues. And Tyron over at left tackle, I don't think you can come back and try and do this one more time. Your center, Tyler Biotish, how much you really willing to pay him?
Yeah. And you've been dealing with a ton of injuries over the last couple of years up front in your offensive line, and I think that's what plagued the running game before. But look, going into the playoffs, I want to see more Hunter Lipke as a lead blocker. I'm not saying that he's a devastating blocker by a long shot, but I think that does help your play action when you do set him up as your fullback, as your lead blocker. Teams have to respect that. And so I'm just looking for ways to get Tony going through the playoffs. What we do in the future is cool. We're going to have to draft a guy. They're going to bring a guy in, whether it's a bridge player, a veteran, whatever it is. They have to address the running game. Tony Pollard, we're not giving him any grace at all with the injury. We're not. All right, let's just say that. We're not. We're just saying.
You did all season.
Yeah, but he ain't.
Give him 25 carries.
Give him 25.
Give him 25 more. Give him 25 more. Give him 25 more.
They gave him a shot. He ain't produced.
But it's true. It's true. They're going to address it.
Get a break in here. Something pretty cool could happen for Dak Prescott on Sunday. We'll dive into that with Barry Church, Heckma Harrison, Danny McCray, I'm Dewey Scruggs. This is Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos on DallasCowboys.com radio.
To kick off the 2023 NFL season, Hugo Boss teamed up with the NFL and Micah Parsons to launch an iconic apparel collection featuring hoodies, crews, t-shirts, polos, joggers, and more. The bold, unique apparel of the Boss NFL collection unites football and fashion while reflecting what it truly means to be a boss. Get yours today at nflshop.com/HugoBoss, at HugoBoss.com, and at Boss Retail Stores. #Be your own boss.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of us magically transforming our smoothie bowls into 2 new decadent flavors. Dig into a cool acai or pitaya bowl, handcrafted with crunchy, purely Elizabeth granola, fresh strawberries, and finished with a velvety chocolate hazelnut drizzle. Perfect for breakfast, lunch, or anytime you want to munch. And that's the sound of you making them disappear. Smoothie bowls, now in 2 new decadent flavors. Only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Players Lounge brought to you by Tostitos, Barry Church, Heckma Harrison, Danny McCray. I am Newey Scruggs here. Dak Prescott leads the league right now with 32 touchdown passes.
Not interceptions. What?
Hey.
He said he wasn't going to have 10.
What?
He did.
He said he wasn't going to have 10.
8 interceptions. Now, he technically didn't say that. What he did say is that they would not have 10 tipped interceptions.
Okay. I like the other one sound better because he only got 8. So
it is.
Right, but
Stand on business.
But the national media got a hold of it. And so there was 2 things the national media really took and ran with like crazy in the offseason, which were taken out of context. One, that one, when he said 10 tipped, because he talked about really just the Noah Brown stuff in the world. That.
Got him.
And then people.
Both fingers.
Yeah, got him.
Both fingers.
Got him.
No, a steak catcher.
Jacksonville game along there.
Goodness gracious. Man, they've been here a whole season.
That got him. And then your man who. Nah, I ain't gonna say it. And then when Mike McCarthy was talking about Kellen Moore and talking about running the ball more. And that was blown out of proportion because what he was talking about in running the ball more was after their first year together. He didn't mean it that last year they were together. And then that got blown out of proportion and people started throwing all these darts at Mike. So we in the media we do a real good job of misrepresenting things that people say and not telling the exact truth there. But Dak Prescott right now leads the league with 32 touchdown passes. Brock Purdy's behind him with 31. And number 3, Jordan Love with the Green Bay Packers.
Hey.
Which is awesome.
So
Man, he turned around.
So there you go. But it would be something. And this would be the first time since Staubach that a Cowboy quarterback has led the league in touchdown passes.
Man. Really? Roma on the music? Man.
You know, boys are going for 50.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Manning was talking about.
Brady and Manning was sitting there.
Yeah, no, those numbers were astronomical.
Yeah.
Only one of them left is A-Rod, and he been out the season.
Right. So, but that's so for this to happen, and before the year, I predicted Dak to go 33-9. And there was a beat writer here who was giving me the business.
Were you there?
Cut the bug. What are you talking about?
A friend of yours?
Yeah, good friend of his. A brother.
Yeah. A friend of yours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you better go point that finger to you.
You did the voice so well. We knew who it was from the jump.
No, it's Calvin Watkins.
Oh, it's Calvin. My bad.
No, Calvin Watkins. Calvin Watkins down one.
Either way.
No, he picked him to throw for 30. Like, what's the difference between 33 and 30? It's really right there in the same range. Mm-hmm. But he has that opportunity, and that would be pretty cool for him. And I think it's pretty safe to say Dak Prescott will finish in the top 5 in the MVP voting. When the top 5.
Yeah, he's played his butt off, man, this season. With all the doubt coming into this season on Dak and the interceptions, he turned it around big time. And I think Mike McCarthy and him came up with a game plan that worked perfectly. Mid-season, we were all asking the questions. Do we trust the ball in Dak's hands? Are we throwing it too much? And by necessity, you've seen that it's worked. The short passing game, the West Coast offense works to a T for Dak because he's able to read, diagnose easily, and he has the wide receivers now to understand it. I think him and CD's are merging together because I think we've seen something from CD that we hadn't seen in years past either. I mean, so him being able to lead the league in touchdowns and potentially CD, because I believe he's like 60 yards away from Tyreek Hill, which, I mean, he could end up being the lead leader in receptions as well, which I think together, man, that would be quite an accomplishment for them and this offense at the end of the year.
Richard Sherman won't think so about CD.
Well, I mean, I think everybody came into the season with their doubt about CD because you'd never seen him play.
Well, CD, at the beginning of the season, CD was upset too because he was, hey, man, I know what I can do. So the frustration that I'm showing you is because I know what type of player I am. And usually those type of players are right. You know, you see Jamar Chase and Jefferson, all those guys who get frustrated like that.
AJ Brown.
And they say, okay, listen, I know what I can do. And then you see the next week they come out, and then CD has been able to go from whatever they talked about in the bye week or whatever they were able to catch up on and fix because it was a new offense coming to the season. That the switch that they flipped, they both have been nothing short of amazing since that. You know, one game here or there, but CeeDee Lamb plus 200. They were talking about 100 catches and 1,300 yards. This man might go for 1,700 or 1,800 yards. We're talking about Tyreek almost going for 2,000 and CeeDee Lamb being higher than him. Dak Prescott protecting the ball, over 30 touchdowns, may lead the league in touchdowns in the MVP race, may win the NFC East, may have two home. Like, it's a lot of positives that come out of this season, especially based on where we were at after we lost to Arizona.
So McCarthy addressed this a little bit probably about 2-3 weeks ago. Maybe a little bit further than that, but he spoke about, going into that, because that was week 5. Go back to this 49er game. Yeah, week 5. That they were still trying to, in some ways, understand how they were going to run this offense. And they were still working through some bumps that, hey, we figured this out. And clearly, CeeDee Lamb coming up and saying what he did, he made the changes. But if you go back and you think about Mike as a play caller, Devontae Adams he had. Jordy Nelson he had. Donald Driver.
James Jones.
Greg Jennings.
Yeah.
This guy has usually had one of the receivers in the league who's been a top 5 wide receiver in terms of production, and CeeDee Lamb is right there now. And I think it just, in some ways, letting it play out that, okay, if you just look at Mike's history, your quarterback is going to be able to put up some numbers, and he's going to have a receiver get some numbers. Running back, not so much. But CeeDee Lamb is that guy, and along with what he's doing there, which I kind of go back into the people right now who are questioning Mike McCarthy in terms of being a head coach. If you don't have Mike McCarthy here next year, you have to get a new head coach. You have to get yourself a new offensive coordinator.
It's crazy.
And with Dak Prescott coming off a year which he will probably finish 3, 4, 5 in terms of being MVP, I don't see Jerry Jones making that kind of call. I don't see him doing that because that's a lot you'd have to change.
Even if he flails out in the first round. Okay. There's not even no discussion.
So I'm glad you said that because my man Jason McIntyre, Fox Sports, and I have been talking about this. What's Mike's record as in the playoffs as a head coach?
I have no idea.
1-2.
Here. Okay.
1-2. First year, they lost to San Francisco at home by 6. And those first 2 possessions, offensive and defense, it looked terrible. But they lost. Then the next year, on the road, wild card against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Crazy.
A team that beat him 2 years in a row to start the season. They beat them in the playoffs, handled them. Then they lost to San Francisco in a game the quarterback was not good. They lost by 7. So the premise that some people have is this guy's some loser out here getting spanked and rolled in the playoffs. It hasn't been the case. They did not look good in either San Francisco. Those were not good games for the Cowboys at all. But they didn't get – it wasn't a 44-6 beating. It wasn't something that was drastically terrible where you would say, man, we got to get rid of this head coach.
Well, I think the issue is when you go back and look at it, one, in the game situations, and then two, things that you are supposed to be taking care of during the season, i.e. penalties, become the thing of like, okay, if you continue to make it to the playoffs and then these same things keep rearing their ugly head, that's when you say, okay, this probably ain't going to get fixed, right? So if you go in there and all of a sudden you got 15 penalties for 200 yards, right, and you get knocked out in the first round and some stupid or crazy end-of-game situation where you slide and you got 12 seconds left, you can't get a fit, whatever that is, that type of stuff is where you say, is it able to be fixed or is it not? Because we don't want to continue having the same issue once you get in those type of big time situations. So I think that's where that comes from. I don't think Mike McCarthy should get fired, especially you go out here and win the NFC East. I don't think that is a thing. Maybe the top leading receiver, maybe the top quarterback in the league. I don't think that's a move that you make, but you do hope that you don't see those same things year after year rear their heads, because at some point you say, is it going to get fixed or not?
Fair.
Yeah, and for me, I think what you're talking about is situational awareness. And a guy like Mike McCarthy that's been coaching in this league so long, he has to understand that those are going to be the knocks on him. Even the penalties, they're going to associate. Obviously, coaches say we don't coach penalties, but if it's happening to you repetitively over and over again, and you're leading the league in penalties, that's a knock on you. And that's why when you talked about them coming into this next game, if they're not inspired to play, that's on the coach. You know, look. When the Cowboys first hired Mike McCarthy, my feeling was, man, why are we hiring the guy that challenged Dez's catch? You know, that's how I felt about it. But
personal.
It was personal. Yeah, that stung. But since he's been here, and as a coach, I just go back to Nolan as a defensive coordinator. He didn't stay the course. It's like, look, this ain't going to work. Change it, all right? Any guy that he's brought onto his coaching staff that hadn't worked, he's changed it. Any player that hasn't played to his potential or found a way to make these guys work out. And if a guy just didn't work out, he washed his hands of it and kept going. That's the thing that I love about Mike McCarthy now as our coach, is the fact that he's so flexible at making sure that this team is always ready. And the record speaks for itself. If win on Sunday, 12-5 seasons, like that's big time. Hey, that's a big time record for a coach that, for all intents and purposes, man, he was embarrassed by his firing in Green Bay, and he's, definitely restructured or revamped his career here in Dallas.
Oh, that lab is real.
The bunker.
Let me ask this question, guys. If he's not the head coach, who would you hire?
That's a good one. I don't know where you would go.
I'll just throw out some names. Jim Harbaugh.
I don't know. He hasn't been proven to win the big one, even at the college level.
I don't know. What are you doing? We got Dan Quinn here, same guy who we've been talking about, helped change the culture. I don't want to take nothing away from Mike. Helped change the culture of the squad. Defense became like the star of the team for a while. Now you see it kind of going back to offense, but we still got big time players on defense. People still believe in Dan Quinn, and I'm sure that people are going to try to hire him again this year to be a head
as soon
coach.
as the playoffs is over with.
So like. I know you want to kind of open it up to everybody, but you look inside the building and you say, hey, man, we got a guy who is highly sought after around the league that could possibly be that. But I'm saying that I would not fire Mike McCarthy.
Right. My thing I always ask people is like, where would you go? So Dan Quinn. And my next question would be Dan Quinn. If you hired him, who's your offensive coordinator? Where do you go? Because he's a defensive guy. In Atlanta, he had a pretty good one that he hired, named Kyle Shanahan. So him, Bill Belichick.
Nah.
Do he fit her?
Nah, I don't.
That's the biggest question. Like, if you hire somebody like that, Mike McCarthy's ability to work in the hierarchy of the Dallas Cowboys, what makes him a guy that you can't replace, because any other coach with a bigger ego couldn't fit. You wouldn't be able to. Not the way things work here. Mike did. For only so long.
4 years?
For only so long.
That's a long time.
But for only so long. And it's
Carolina,
not like that.
That's an eternity.
And that's true.
Jacksonville, that's an eternity.
But it's not like that didn't come, was burning at both ends towards the end. I'm saying Mike McCarthy, what he's able to do is just stay in his lane. And how many guys could actually take this job and do that?
You're right, but but this is more for the people out there who, well, McCarthy, if he doesn't do, they're ready to replace Mike. Those are where I go with this, and I think you're right. It takes a special kind of, I want to say, it's a different kind of job. It is a different kind of mindset when you're here. And Parcells spoke about it. Mike's lived with it. So yes, I think that's a part of it. Working for the Joneses is definitely different. That's why I asked that question about who do you bring in? Because it's easy to say, fire this guy. Tell me who you hire.
Yeah, this is. I mean, a guy like Belichick wouldn't be able to come in. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't work. I mean, he sure wouldn't be as friendly with the media as you guys.
You're gonna change the defense.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna change all of that.
So that's why when people say these things.
And he's a general manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big Mike about to get over the hump. This ain't even.
Yeah, come on, man.
He about to get.
I don't know.
He about to get over the hump because it's gonna be favorable matchups. I think it's gonna be the path of least resistance.
If it's a favorable matchup and it doesn't go to way it's planned,
you know what's gonna happen here. You know what everybody.
That's
goes,
what I'm
you know what it is.
Let's just say it. I just threw this out. I was thinking about it. He wins the 2 playoff games, the wild card game at home and the division game. Okay. And then goes to face, let's say they face the 49ers, and they lose that. Then you're talking about a 3-3 playoff record.
Oh, he's good then. Yeah, he just got one.
And let's say it's another close game, another touchdown or less game against the 49ers. You really want to get on that?
Nah. He's talking about if the Packers come up here.
They supposed to mollywop them in the first round. We all like it, and it does not go its way. Close or not, you go to the playoffs, and it's the Packers.
Hey, man.
That's tough, man. They're going to be looking like,
at home.
What? At home.
All I know is Jason.
All right, here we go.
Let's wrap it up, man.
Let's wrap it up. And we're going to end it right there. Thank you, Players Lounge. Mike McCarthy. Talk to you tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!